Hey guys, good morning. Coach Jen T here, coming at you with some easy time-saving meal prep tips. If you were on board with grabbing that meal plan template, I don't even know how many I sent out. It was completely free. I lost track. But anyway, if you did not get that, just let me know. All you have to do is let me know you want that template, and it just gives you an outline of how to plan your meals, a food log for yourself to write down your meals, and also what's most important is like the food list of pulling some healthy whole food choices into your meal assembly, holding yourself accountable on a piece of paper for writing down your meal plan. So if you didn't get that, hop on in, send me a message, let me know, we can get that to you. So some time-saving tips. I didn't even number them because I have so many, but I am going to fly through them. Number one is to batch cook. So cooking things in bulk. If you're going to cook in bulk. So things like chicken, things like rice, quinoa, veggies, cook them in batches and have them for leftovers so it's easy to have that accessible later so you're not finding yourself cooking multiple times. Next up, have theme days. That's really good. Like, Taco Tuesday, or if you have like, I like Pizza Friday, but if you're trying to be healthier, having like flatbread pizzas, making it into like, a burrito bowl Wednesday, whatever it is. But if you have like themed nights, 5 days out of the week, it's really fun to incorporate different recipes, but also take the thinking out of like what you're going to have each day as you're menu planning. Next up is to pre-chop your veggies. As soon as you get home from the grocery store, get out the cutting board, get out the knife, and just process your veggies by washing them, drying them, prepping them by cutting them and putting them in individual containers. So it makes it so much easier to have the veggies ready to go. It's easier to cook and cook with like a chopped onion versus a whole onion, right? Saving lots of time. Next up is to buy pre-washed greens. Yes, it can be a little bit more expensive, but if you buy pre-washed, it saves you the time from having to rinse and dry those greens, things like spinach, arugula, kale, and those kind of things. Next up is to prep things in your slow cooker, things like soups, stews, and different bulk protein options. I just made some shredded barbecue chicken in the crock pot. Came out really good. It's easy. It makes multiple meal leftovers. So use that slow cooker, and the other one is an Instant Pot. If you have one of those also can like have the time of cooking those kind of things. Next up, if you have a blender, that's great for using, making things like sauces and dressings. I love it for making smoothies. You can whip up a smoothie. Even like kids love smoothies, super healthy, protein packed. Use that blender when you can, and you can make things in bulk there too. Next up is to slice and dice using a mandolin or chopper. Holy cow, does that save money. I have a Pampered Chef like chopper that like spins like in the middle, and you just push it down, and like we use it for onion and peppers all the time, but you can use it really for any veggie you need to chop. It dices it up super fine, but also I have another chopper that I'm happy to share with you guys that I found on Amazon that I love. But again, saving tons and tons of time. Next up is to make one pot or sheet pan meals for easy cleanup. If you are making a sheet pan meal, lining it with a little bit of parchment paper makes it super easy to just clean up. And one pot meals also, like if you're using a Dutch oven or a rock crock, which I think is Pampered Chef. I went through a Pampered Chef phase a while ago. But you can make an entire meal with veggies and meat and like your starch all in one to make clean up easy so you don't have 100,000 dishes. Next up is to prep ingredients to use across several meals. Just one example, if you have a bunch of sweet potatoes, cook those up. You can have some for like a breakfast bowl. You can have some extra sweet potatoes to put in like a burrito or a wrap, and then an extra side of sweet potatoes as your healthy carbohydrate for dinner. Just making that easy to use across multiple meals. Same goes with things like rice or beans. Just another thought there. Next up is if you have a meal coming up where it takes a little bit of prep work, measuring out your ingredients in advance. If you have things like sauces or seasonings that you have to make those seasonings ahead of time, and then it's super easy to get those like in your meal while you're cooking because they're already ready. Next up is to make individual grab and go containers. This goes for things like breakfast, having something grab and go so you don't need to think about making your meals. I know a lot of my clients like to do their little egg muffin cups, have those in a container, grab them, microwave them, go. You can also have reheat and eat meals. These are amazing for not only lunch, but late night, get home, tired, exhausted. You don't want to cook. You don't want to prep that raw chicken breast sitting in the fridge. Just having reheat and eat meals that are ready to go in grab and go containers. And then next up, keep your fridge organized by marking your containers with a date and what is in there so you don't let food go to waste, kind of keeping your fridge with your oldest things in the front where you can grab them, make sure you eat them up and you're not wasting food by throwing it away. I personally hate wasting food. Next up is to double your recipe. So if you have a really yummy recipe that the whole family likes, double the cooking of it and you can eat half of it as a family and have some leftovers for the week, but you can also freeze half. Or if you're going to make some sort of casserole, make 2 casseroles, have one now, you have room in the oven, bake another, and then freeze it, or just freeze it raw so that you can take it out and bake it later. A huge time saver. If you're going to make 1 meal, make 2. Have meals for later. Those emergency stashes of meals that are in the freezer can really come in handy. Next up is to delegate tasks. You don't have to do all the cooking and shopping by yourself. See if your kids will help you, like rinse and chop veggies, or just rinse and dry the vegetables, or maybe your husband could go to the store and do the shopping, or your husband can help with some of the veggies, like chopping them or something, or grilling the meat. Men love to do that, right? So find things that your family can help with so you're not doing all of the work by yourself, and that can save you some major time. Next up is to portion out your snacks, things like nuts. If you buy a big container of yogurt or a big container of cottage cheese, you can portion that out ahead of time, so like 1 cup servings in little containers so that they're ready and easy to go. And you can even add, like if you've got yogurt, you can do like add some berries to it or whatever. So it's just easy to grab and go. Portioning it out, especially with things like nuts and seeds, just makes it more portion controlled. And then a couple more. So you can make smoothie bags. If you love smoothies, you can actually prep your yogurt and your berries and things, whatever you want in your smoothie. Avocado can actually make it really rich. Have a banana. You can toss in greens like kale or spinach. You would never know they're in there, and you're getting super iron and nutrients in that. But make all of your dry ingredients in little bags and then put them in the freezer so that when you're ready to make your smoothie, again, don't forget the protein. You can toss in protein powder. And the Greek yogurt will give you some protein, but then you put it into your blender simply with the liquid, and blending that up, you've already got your frozen. You don't really need much ice because all of your ingredients are already frozen. Mix it with your liquid, whatever that may be for you. Maybe it's just some milk, and then you've got your smoothie ready to go. So the smoothie bags can really save some time and mess for prep. And then finally, last but not least, one of my favorite things is if you are strapped for time, grocery delivery service is amazing. This day and age, you can get groceries delivered in most places that you live. So like we live in Hancock, right? So we get grocery delivery. You get it from Walmart, DoorDash and Instacart. Will deliver from Shaw's, from Hannaford, and it costs a little more because you are tipping your driver, but you save a lot of time in shopping, and you also are able to spend more time in the kitchen prepping or doing other activities that you really enjoy. And I know a lot of people have said, in the past, I really like to pick out my produce, or I'm picky about this and that. And yes, I agree. If you are picky and if you love to grocery shop, continue to grocery shop. Me personally, I don't love grocery shopping, but I know with my experience with Walmart, if I do get like something with produce that's a little sketchy, I will return it, no problem, and they refund it without you having to even go to the store. So that's just one little tip, is just to do that, or like grocery delivery or meal prep services if you're really a busy person. That's it for time-saving tips for meal prep. I hope they helped you, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to support you in this new year.